Hello, sorry.
Hello.
So, very warm welcome to everyone to my live session here with Kemi. I'm so pleased to meet you.
Can I admit that we just literally skidded into place because birth workers got together, started talking.
Yes.
Like really started talking.
Yes.
Oh, we've got to get into the studio.
I know, we literally ran down the garden. Yeah. So my makeup and hair wasn't really finished, but let's have a look. I'm going to see if I can find this event here. So I can see if people are actually coming in to ask questions.
Okay.
Here. Let's have a look. So at the moment, I can't see if anyone's here.
Okay.
Yes, we have. We got people here.
Oh, good.
We've got people here.
So no swearing.
No,
okay.
no swearing. We have got people, and it looks like we're okay there as well.
Okay, good.
All right, so Kemi, we've had some questions come in.
Yes.
And the first one, which is a bit more maybe personal for you. I was wondering, why did you become a midwife? What were you doing in the past that led you to become a midwife?
Really good question. I was enjoying school and all the sport that went with it, and then when I was 15, I just woke up one morning after a dream thinking, I've got to be a midwife. It was so random.
No.
Literally, honestly, it came out of the clear blue. So I spoke to my dad about it at the time, and he asked me what it was, and then just poo-pooed it and said, no, we sent you to that school because we want you to be a doctor. We need a doctor in the family, and all of that.
Okay.
I'm sure there'll be other people that that are immigrant. My dad was an immigrant to England, and he just dreamed that I'd be a doctor or a lawyer.
Of course.
And I said, no, I've got to be a midwife. And so we had a bit of an argument about that. So because I have this rebellious nature, Kiki.
I would never have known. I've known you I've met you now for what? An hour? Are you rebellious?
I'm not rebellious. I no, it's not rebellious.
No.
I'm not intentionally so, but if something feels right, I really go by my gut, then I just dig my heels in.
Okay.
And so, well, if I can't be a midwife, what I'll be then is an accountant. Okay. So, yeah, I know. It really figures, doesn't it? So then I pursued that and then started popping out children. When I had mine, I realised there's some big problems with maternity services.
So hang on, you were an accountant?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, yes.
I know, it's really boring.
And then you started popping children
really
out.
Dull, yeah. So I studied the ACCA. I actually completed some of my final exams with my second child on my breast. Okay. So I was breastfeeding at the time. And then did some amazing work with some amazing companies. I kept choosing charities and things. Really good.
Okay.
And then did some work of my own. So set up my own little office. Not as sexy as this one, I have to say. And then just progressed from there. But every time it kept popping up.
Okay.
Be a midwife. You've got to be a midwife. And then one day I was working for an amazing company that was finding homes for women that were being trafficked or single parents or sufferers or survivors of domestic violence. And then one day it just all fell in on me like, no, I can't do this for another day. Not because I didn't love it, I did, but it was because I knew I needed to be a midwife. Okay. And so my children, I'd applied to King's once and then deferred whilst my children were in primary school. But once my first hit secondary, went for it. So, yeah.
So then did you work in the NHS for a bit?
A tiny bit, just whizzed through there. Yeah. And then I was being looked after by independent midwives, and they were really good to me and helped me, dip my toe in until I felt confident to start my own caseload, and then I did. And
now you don't only just do that, you're an independent midwife, you are a KG...
Hypnobirthing teacher.
Okay.
And a positive birth movement facilitator.
Mustn't forget that.
Because, I'm sure we all know why. It's so important that there are spaces where people can talk about birth in positive ways. Yes. And some people question the necessity for that. Honestly, all you need to do is sit on a bus for 5 minutes or sit in a cafe and you can hear horrible birth stories. Yeah. It's really hard to hear great birth stories. It is. So it's an essential space.
Yeah. But I find that often women that have really positive and good births feel embarrassed
That's right.
That is kind of, I don't want to be gloating. I don't want to be boasting. I don't want to tell people how wonderful it can be.
Yeah, because society believes, it could have started with Christianity saying that you'll give birth is suffering. Or it could have been, who knows? But the society believes birth is awful.
Yeah.
Like even I was reading a comment today on Facebook, that women's perineums are supposed to be wounded.
Yeah.
It's like, stop it.
That's just
weird. It's like, it's outrageous. So all of those beliefs, are couched around women who are cowering, having had a great birth, and feel that they can't speak about it. That's become the taboo. So I think the space is just essential.
But and also, of course, women that have, which there are unfortunately so many who have traumatic birth experiences, need to talk about their experience. So
exactly.
So they need that space.
That's the other thing. I think, of course, it was really urgent to create the positive birth movement for the space, but clearly we are neglecting the swathes of birthing people who are totally traumatized by their birth unnecessarily.
Yeah.
And obviously, I also accept that birth is birth. It's a big event.
Yeah.
Sometimes there will be trauma no matter what you do, but it's the unnecessary trauma that is, it's a crime.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely. And that is something I found when I was going to this meeting at the Houses of Parliament as part of. Did you come across the 1001 manifesto?
No.
Pluto 2, like building Great Britons. Well, you need to get involved, Kemi.
Oh,
I'm going to send you a link.
Put me up. Put me up.
But they were talking about, obviously, it was a lot of talk about perinatal mental health. It was a lot of talk about postnatal mental health.
Yes.
And I kind of said, what about the birth? We don't have much evidence around the birth, was the response I had. And actually, with the RCM and Doula UK, we did give some evidence that birth actually has an impact on everything. Yes. But if we can get it right from the beginning, which is the birth, it's before then, but
preconception,
exactly, then we can prevent a lot of postnatal illness.
Yeah, we can.
And it's kind of,
if we can introduce this subject at schools, this is what is in my gut at the moment. I think. I really think the next thing I need to be doing is being part of a movement that's going to schools.
Yes, well, that's what we want to do.
Okay, well,
that's what the birth.
There we go.
We're talking about it.
That's why we skidded in with 1 minute to go, isn't it?
We actually have people in Department of Education. Now I say no more.
Okay. You get me excited.
Wink, wink. Anyway, let me get back to the questions. Look, I've asked one question and we've been going on for so long.
I've told you.
Yeah, this is it.
You can't have 10 minutes of questions.
No, so talking about midwives, you kind of mentioned earlier you were doing a little bit of being a doula.
Oh, yes,
what was that?
I was tiptoeing around being a doula.
Okay.
Just quietly doulaing for people who didn't have means.
Okay.
So this is whilst I was, looking after my family quite well, had my little office, being an accountant. I then also on the quiet was doulaing.
Okay.
And that was born out of too frightened to become a midwife. Don't know if I've got time anyway. Mm-hmm. Don't want to be doing night shifts away from my children and things like that. But needed to be in the birth room to make birth better for families. Yes. So that's all that was born out of.
Great. So you are a doula who then progressed to become
a
midwife.
That's right. Exactly.
Ooh,
exactly.
Brilliant.
And it was all about, my births were so horrendous that I just felt enough was enough. And I wanted to start doing things. So being a doula, and then obviously, thankfully, I'd say obviously, but at the time, it was easier to see a healthy physiological birth in those days if they weren't hospital based. So I tend to be in the home.
Yeah.
And as a doula, and so I was absolutely horrified when I started my midwifery training.
I bet.
To see all that I'd been through was still happening.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, this is a mess.
Yeah.
And so half of me wanted to just step off and be a DJ. The other half wanted to stay on the course and complete it, get on the register and help families.
Yeah.
So that's that. So halfway through the course, I really, it was difficult.
Yes. Really
difficult. And I speak to students now who are having this same crisis in second and third years, just to try and help them just stay with it and get on the register, because once you're on the register, then you can practice evidence-based care rather than what you're being shown in practice as a student.
Yeah, because
that's a bit controversial, isn't it?
No, but I also do think that I think there needs to be some more training for midwives and obstetricians, and maybe not. I mean, for doctors, a lot of the time they come in and they often have to deal with complex
absolutely
issues, but I feel that there still is room there to have some training in, how to speak to people, communication and stuff.
I think they have that.
Oh.
I think, naughty. No, I think they have that. I think the doctor's situation where they only ever see birth when it's diverted or diverged away from physiological birth, and then working crushing shifts and high expectations and poor pay. I think that combination, even the most polite, well-meaning of doctors could probably turn into the kind of person that will forget to give their name, forget to ask permission to do a VE. It's not an excuse. I know.
No, it's an explanation.
Please, guys.
No, but it's worth thinking like that, because I think that everyone, like Penny Simpkins says, everyone are like they are for a reason.
That's right.
So we always have to think about that. If we're working with a birthing person or a woman or a couple or a midwife or a healthcare assistant, or we have to remember that they're not. You might become the target of whatever they have with them, their baggage, but
that's
it's
right.
not. We need to be compassionate with those people too.
Yes,
but it's
what's our but, Kiki?
The but is we can still be kind.
That's right.
We can still be kind.
And I'm gonna actually get a little sign and put it up over my bed, because I hear you so loud and clear. You can still be kind. I know I can be brisk sometimes, but the reason why I'm brisk is because, like you, I think the birthing person is absolutely in the centre of the care, and it's inexcusable to make their experience worse because of our stuff. So that's why I can be a bit fiery and fierce, but it's just I really think, birthing people, they have that experience twice, 3 times, maybe 5 times in their lives. But it's crucial that everyone does their absolute best. And I think if I ever was giving care consistently that was causing hurt, I would step out of that role and do something different.
And it's interesting because maybe that's something that might need to be added, like your own birthing experiences when you go to work with birthing women, like or birthing people, like doulas do. We all have to have some kind of a birth completion session, so that we are able to trust birth and also not be triggered by things that might happen.
Interesting that you say that, because the trusting of birth isn't something, we got around to a lot in our training, but we never really worked with that.
No.
The understanding of the physiology, we learnt it in pieces, but putting it together, particularly in practice, wasn't something that happened very often, because what we saw in practice wasn't physiological birth being facilitated in the way that it ought for our species. Like we facilitate it for sheep and cats and
Oh, that's why I always say that. Who's familiar with farmers? What do they do? What do they not do?
What do they not do?
They do not shine a bright torch at a sheep having a lamb.
That's right.
Or go in and start shouting at a cow having a calf, because they know if they frighten them. Well, we all know that. But the reason why I asked you this question was because I had a question about being a doula.
Quick. We're going to run out of time,
because a doula asked me if if a doula needs to come to say to you as a midwife that you are doing something that might not be respecting the client's wishes or requirements, how would you like to be approached?
How would I like to be approached?
Yes.
As quickly as possible.
Okay.
Because it really matters. And I think sometimes midwives, we are between a rock and a hard place, and we do get overwhelmed with what's expected of us. But at the same time, back to the caveat is really the woman and birthing person need to be respected, kept in the middle. So no matter what my stuff is or what deadline I have, if I'm disrespecting my reason for being, which is to assist people to give birth, I need to be told like right away.
So outside?
Yeah, I would prefer, I don't want it to be something, I don't want to contaminate the environment any further. So if the doula could definitely take me outside and draw my attention to what's happening, you know, and I think doulas, they will usually know the family well. I mean, I do, as working as an independent, but occasionally I've looked after women that I met, well, the first thing I met was their bottoms. So, you know, it's literally, occasionally, you know, usually I will know them. But the doula may have formed a relationship and an understanding of what the needs are for that family. And so whenever I'm at a birth and there's a doula present, I'm very keen to know what they know about the family and what their wishes are. Even having looked at a birth plan, I still really want to know the nuances, you know, how it feels, what I've said, what did I miss, you know. So urgently and outside. That's
wonderful, because I know I used to in the past do talks. I used to go and speak at the, you know, there's a midwifery course in Hatfield, not far from here. And I remember once I was talking about doulas, and one of the student midwives said, but can't you see how you get in the way of the midwife and the birthing person, because they don't talk to us? And very interestingly, some of the other midwifery students actually answered her and said, well, we're all working for the same,
that's what I was
the person in the centre.
Amazing,
and
good answer.
So that, and I think she kind of saw that, and we were talking about this, about if we always put the woman or the birthing person in the centre, we don't have to worry about what you're doing, what my role is. Why are you doing that? You shouldn't be stroking my...
Right.
Because you're the notes. I'm doing the emotional.
There's no shoulds. Exactly.
And then you get midwives being upset because, doulas give emotional support. So do midwives. We all do. We haven't got ownership on one thing. The thing you do differently is that you have the medical. Learning
and requirements and, you know, obligations.
Exactly.
And we have all of that.
Yes.
But that's not to negate what we bring to the space with regard to our emotions, and we have to look after ourselves so we enter the space giving good things. Because bringing another person earthside, there's nothing more important than that.
No.
And if that stops, we all end. It all ends.
Exactly.
So we really need to respect that process and the person that's giving of themselves to enable that to happen. And so, like you say, there's no rules about who does what. No. We work together. And that's why, like, you know, it's really, I love that this has come up, because like I'm now living my dream, because if I'm attending births, I will bring, either my doula will come or they will have their doula. So I can't see birth happening without a doula and think that's the best situation that could be. I think every birth should have a doula. Every single birth. It's obvious.
Well, that's interesting, because that kind of leads me on to the next question, which is like, when you think about, or someone sent this in. So midwives will talk to women about maybe have some acupuncture or see an osteopath, or reflexology is really helpful. But it's very rare, or I'm sure some midwives do, that they mention doulas, when doulas are evidence-based. It's not just like a person that like does it for fun.
No.
So why do you think that could be? Do you think it's...
Again, I think because most doulas are women, and of course women don't do anything right and can't be trusted in anything that's really important. So they'll be the last thing that will get mentioned. Whilst because I appreciate how magnificent and invaluable we are, the first thing I mention when I'm going to work with a couple is, have you considered a doula? That's the first thing. All the other things, actually, apart from, I'd say, because of our lifestyle, you know, Matt Clark, Bowen Bexley, obsessed with him because he's so clever with what he does with fascia. So he's almost a routine mention, but still not quite. If there's a woman that's in touch with her body and she's stretching and she's fit and she's got a great core, and then I might never mention Matt to her. But a lot of us now, we're sitting in chairs, you know, our jobs, you know, can be quite sedentary at times, or we're getting exhausted and things like that. So I think everyone would benefit from I think most people would benefit from Bowen therapy because it's subtle, it's fascia, it's similar to craniosacral. I love it. But the thing that I would mention routinely is a doula. It's routine.
It's wonderful to hear. And you're an
independent. They deserve it.
Yeah, and you're an independent midwife, and often we'll hear, often said that if you have an independent midwife, you don't need a doula.
I've heard that.
Yeah, I hear that too. But our roles are still very different, and we're team. You know, you want to build a team around you.
It's a team.
Yeah.
Since I've kind of morphed into this independent midwife that insists on there being doulas present at the birth, I've seen the births were great, but they're now even better.
Okay.
So
this is good. We need some research from you.
Yeah.
Kemi. We need to get the
actually,
numbers out there. But we know.
I mean, maybe I think there's other IMs out there that are doing this as well. So maybe we should all talk to each other. The IM doula connection partnership to me is the optimal for creating the space for babies to come earthside. I really do.
I think that is from just working with the midwives in the hospital settings most of the time, that when you are a team, it's just so nice.
It's top.
I love working with midwives, and we become really, all our focus is just on supporting this woman or birthing person to have the best experience possible, whatever that might be. And it's great. So that's wonderful. So maybe we still have some more work to do, doulas, to inform, educate, for midwives to understand that we're not actually, we're there to support.
Absolutely.
And not there to compete.
Although we have to say, don't we? We have to acknowledge. Yeah. You're a doula. I'm a midwife. We have to acknowledge that you've got some really great doulas and you've got some really bad ones. You've got some really great midwives and some really bad ones. And you've got some really great obstetricians and some really bad ones. Yes. So I think it has to be a good doula, a well-trained doula.
Yes, I
with
agree.
Their heart in the right place.
Yes. Yeah, who recognises that it's not about them.
Yeah, that's right.
And that is the same for anyone in the birthing space.
That's right, because as we know, you will have midwives and obstetricians who are maybe not in the right space. And I can presume that must be what's happening because of the amount of people that are going into the services and coming out harmed. Yes. So I can only presume that whoever they met wasn't in the right space. Some people want to argue and say, "Oh no, birth's really risky. Yes. You know, things can come out of the clear blue." Yeah, but not 50% of the time, 70% of the time. Yeah. No, it's we've got to own the fact that there's some of us, whatever role, whatever hat we're wearing, that may not be acting appropriately in this birth space, may not be appropriate for the birth space.
Yes.
So
actually that leads me on to a question I had about the NHS. Where there's a lot of midwife staff working under a lot of pressure for various reasons, about funding.
Yeah, that's getting squeezed.
Lack of midwives. So I had a question from someone that asked, as an independent midwife, how do you support and encourage your colleagues within the NHS?
What, like in the birth space?
Yeah, when you're there, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Knowing that midwife is very likely to be overworked, exhausted, got colleagues that are ill, so they're under-resourced. Yeah. And sometimes I think, having somebody in the room that could do what you're doing but isn't, means they've got more time to observe, which could mean that the NHS midwife is feeling watched or judged,
which can be the case sometimes.
Exactly.
They feel
that. So one of the things I find really important is, and somebody criticized me for that the other day. I said I always think the best of the person unless they show me otherwise. Yes. So I'm really excited to meet the midwife when I go in, and I'm hoping that they're ready to work together for the woman. I know that I'm not insured by their employer, so they ought to be doing whatever needs doing first. But I want to work with that, offer to hold things, help, and we get on really well in the birth space. There's only been one midwife that got upset, got the bed the wrong side, really did, and never perked up, and
That was rather strange.
Just one in all my time. You know, everyone else has really tried, and we've worked together. So that's the best I can do.
Yeah, I guess what else can you do? You know, because you're not in that system, and anyone can be an independent midwife, can't they?
Absolutely, so anyone once you're on the register.
Yeah, so it's a choice. Coming back to that with the insurance, so we often hear that if you hire an independent midwife, that's it. As soon as you go in, if it's a transfer for any reason, that's it. You can't be a midwife anymore. You become a doula.
Funny.
Can you tell me a bit more
about... we need to shoot that myth down.
Yes, can you do that now?
No, I'm always on the register. So if I go into the birth space within the NHS, I'm still a registered midwife.
Yes.
When we step back into that role of support or, you know, advocate, we're not hanging up our registration.
No, you can't, can you?
You can't ever. No. Even if, you know, even if I've had a bottle of Prosecco and someone starts to squeeze a baby out in front of me, I've still got to be a midwife, you know. So, you know, so we're always midwives. The thing is, when we go into that space, we acknowledge that because it's an NHS facility, they have their insurance, and the person employed by them, they would prefer them to do the work. Yes. And they're covered for them to do the work.
Of course.
But if something's happening in the birth space that, you know, the midwife that's present isn't able to facilitate best practice, you know, gold standard care, and I can do it, you know, the one that happens quite regularly is a physiological third stage.
Of course.
Because that doesn't usually happen within the NHS. Sometimes that midwife might be nervous about it, or, you know, like I've seen some just holding the cord.
Stop pulling on the cord.
All that. So in those situations, I'm very happy to step in with my registration, and I'm permitted to do that. And say, you know what, I've got this. I know what I'm doing. It's okay. So then it's a partnership. It's not about taking over or putting anyone down. It's just that with two midwives in the room, the woman needs to have gold standard care, and if one can't do it, the other one can.
No, that's wonderful. So
there was something else I wanted to say. It's right, it'll come back.
I'm just seeing if anyone's saying anything. So someone said Matt is amazing.
Oh yes.
Someone called Crystal. Do you know Crystal?
Yes, Crystal.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello, Crystal.
So I'm just looking to see that we are still on. Yeah, it's broadcasting. I'm just worried because I just heard my phone go off. Oh, God. Which I should have.
Check it.
Is it someone texting us saying, we can't hear you, we can't see you? But obviously they can. So, what would you say is the most important thing to be thinking about when preparing for childbirth?
Oh, good question.
Yeah, so for a pregnant woman.
Right, so.
Or person.
I'm a KG hypnobirthing teacher.
Yes.
So, I'm not. I don't have to be a KG hypnobirthing teacher. I actually chose it because it's so amazing, spot on, complete, consummate preparation.
Okay.
So that's why I always say you ought to be doing that.
Yeah.
But essentially, what I think needs. We say it in the course actually, but you need to think about where's the environment that your body will open.
Yeah.
So for some people it's home. You know, used to be everyone, it was home, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, but for some people it would be home. Some people might be the midwifery-led unit. Some people might be the obstetric unit.
Yeah.
Just think about where it is that your body will open. Think about who is the best person to be with you when that's happening. And it's not always your partner.
No, that's true.
Yeah, it's not always your partner.
Yeah.
And, you know, think about whether... how you can create privacy or an environment wherever you are that your body will open. But also you've really got to think about whether you think that childbirth is, and there's been a meme, but if childbirth is a natural event that you occasionally need medical help for, or is it a medical event? And you really need to think about that as a person, and then facilitate whatever that is. So if you think it's a medical event, then you really need to be in the obstetric unit.
Yeah.
But if you think, actually, just as I poo, pee, breathe, you know, sneeze, cough, scratch my head,
sleep,
wake up.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Go on, you can add to this. But we squeeze babies out, and I know that it's very special. Can appear miraculous how we can take 2 cells and make a whole human. Yeah, I know all of that, but we're still doing it. Yeah, and we have to accept that. It's kind of obvious. It's a natural event. Yeah, it's been happening a very long time.
We have survived very well for some reason. I know.
So you know, some people say, "Oh yes, but people used to die a lot in childbirth." You've got to think about were antibiotics around. Thank you. You know, using forceps on cadavers and then on women.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you've got to think about corsets. You've got to think about overcrowded living conditions. Yeah. Poor nutrition. Yes. You know, you've got to think about all of that.
Yes.
Childbirth wasn't the problem.
No, exactly. No? But it's all like, since obstetrics, less women and babies die. Yeah. But actually, you have to put it in context.
You have to put it in context.
But yeah.
I'm really glad obstetrics is around.
Same here.
Because there are some cases where, you know, parent and baby would have died if not for them. Yeah. But we're overusing it. Yeah. Hammering it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And you think of some countries now where you can't have a midwife. Like in many states in America, it's kind of, you book an obstetrician. Yeah. That's it.
It's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad that has been, that choice is restricted and then it becomes dangerous. Yes. So it starts off being sad. Yeah. But it ends up being dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely, because you're moving it into a hospital, controlling the event with the bright lights, with the bleeping machines, with the people asking questions all the time. And then you're wondering why women's or birthing people's bodies can't
unfold.
No, well, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I use it. I'm lewd anyway, but I use the example of, you know, you might have a lover, making love in your own home, your own room. Goes really well. Yeah. Goes really well. Yeah. You go home for Christmas, you're in the room next door to your in-laws. Yeah. How well does it go? Does it go very well, does it?
It's a little bit more difficult to relax, perhaps.
Quite difficult.
Yeah. So it's the same. I usually say that you really want to have your baby maybe in the same place as you made your baby. Yeah. It's just that kind of...
Goes well.
Yeah. Exactly. Most of the time.
Most of the time.
But we know that from the birthplace study, you know? It's like, when you think about that, where women choose, or where birthing people choose to have their babies,
affects the outcome.
Exactly.
It really
so
does.
when you say the environment,
it really means a lot.
Is. And not a lot of people think like that. They will be thinking, doing a really good, you know, antenatal classes, doing, you know, hypnobirthing.
I love hypnobirthing. I love KG hypnobirthing. Yes. But it's not, you can't just do it. You have to then remember what you've learned. Yeah. Do all the practice and the techniques. Yes. But being frank, if the techniques were saving droves of births, we wouldn't, KG hypnobirthing wouldn't have been born. No. You know? And we'd have really great stats for physiological birth right now. But we don't. Yeah. So you know, it's the attention to the environment and who's in it is really, really important.
And I don't think that is the number one thing on people's lists. I think we're in this kind of idea of we're having to study for it. You know, we need to be really, you know, you educate ourselves and then we control it all. And we have long, long lists on this happens now. Even a home birth, you know, when do we fill the pool? When do we light the candles? Yeah. And it's actually, it's not like
flow.
That. Exactly.
It's the flow, isn't it?
So, oh God, we so got this.
It's the flow.
It's the flow. Okay, let me see if anyone's asking anything. If I refresh, it looks like we're still live anyway. I can keep seeing us talking and throwing our arms around. It's always a few minutes behind on here.
Is it?
Which is quite funny. Okay, so Crystal's sending love back to you.
Oh,
okay, so got 15 comments and no questions so far. So let's continue.
Are the comments rude? Are they rude?
No, this is such beautiful insight. Hi. Someone said hi. I'm just going to go back and look at the questions because I have got some more. Yeah. And we're talking about KG hypnobirthing.
Oh, yes.
So someone wants to know, how does KG hypnobirthing differ from the other types of hypnobirthing?
The other types.
So what have we got? We got...
I never studied the other types.
Okay.
So the only exposure I have to it is if I'm looking after who has.
Okay.
So there are some things that seem to come out of that. with KG hypnobirthing, there's a few things we want everyone to understand the fallacy of due dates, that it's just a delusion.
Yes.
Because 96% of babies don't come on that date, so it's clearly a fiction.
I love how you threw the stats around there. Like, make it bigger.
Wow.
You know, like everyone's 4%.
96% of babies don't come on that day.
Yeah.
So because of that fallacy, it's really glaring to me when I'm talking to a person who's obsessing on the due date. I think, and then I do tend to ask, have you done hypnobirthing? And then they'll say yes, and then I'll realize, okay, it wasn't KGH.
Oh, okay.
Because half of the problems are being caused by this obsession with the due date.
Yeah.
So that's a tell. So I'm not sure. There's quite a few people who've said they've studied hypnobirthing, but then they're really surprised that they're still pregnant at 40+1. Yeah. So I'm thinking, okay, so it wasn't KGH then, because we'll tell you the stats. Yeah. But 85% of you will still be pregnant after 40+0. Yeah. Right. So that's one of the differences I've noticed, and another difference as well is we, okay. So for instance, pushing. Yeah. So not all people need to engage their abdominals when their uterus is pushing their baby out. So the expulsive stage or second stage. Not everyone needs to, but some do. And it's just like when we're going to the toilet, the only person who'll know is you. Yeah. Yeah. So exactly. No one can sit in the toilet stall with you and say, I think you need to push now. It's like, it's not going to go well.
I'm just picturing that.
Yeah, a coach. Yeah. A poo coach. Yeah. No. So, and the baby's much bigger than a poo, so it's going to send many more signals of when you need to, or if you need to bear down. Yeah. The uterus is pushing the baby down. So if I'm talking to somebody who's studied hypnobirthing and then they don't get that they might have to engage their abdominals in some occasions. Yeah. Yeah. Or they're just,
I've been in that
or they're just breathing through no matter what, breathing through, and you can see the whole. Then I think, you might not have done KG hypnobirthing, you might have done another one. So I think and if people keep apologising for making a noise. Okay. I'm wondering, were you taught that you ought not to vocalise? Because you make whatever noise you want. Yes. It doesn't matter. Yeah. The calmness is what you feel on the inside. Yeah. You can still be dancing or wailing or, you know, the power. We want you to experience that. You know, hypnobirthing isn't about, Zen. No. Silence.
I'm so glad you said that, because I think hypnobirthing is a really great tool for women and companies.
And that's all it is.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's how it has to be viewed. Yeah. A great tool. Yes. But it's kind of, because I have been with those women too, and that whole breathing your baby out, and it's just,
it's for some people it works.
Well, like, then you don't even have to think about it.
Beautiful Crystal, she breathed her baby out. So there's a video. She's very kindly shared her video with everyone who's learning. So you're not breaching anyone's confidentiality. No. She's no. Yeah. Oh, Crystal, just talk about your birth.
Crystal, okay.
Yeah. So she's her birthing video of her second child is available for everyone learning KG hypnobirthing. Excellent. And she breathes her baby out. Yeah. There's no effort, not a bead of sweat or anything, right? But it doesn't mean that everyone has to breathe their baby out like Crystal. It doesn't mean that everybody has to be silent like Crystal. No. And many women aren't, and they're giving birth using hypnobirthing. Yeah. It's a tool to use.
Exactly.
And it shifts a paradigm as well. It's transformative. Yeah. But actually you snatch your tools for the birth process itself, or you might not. And but leading up to your birth, KG hypnobirthing is definitely preparing you for asking the hard questions, processing your answers, making your choices. Yeah, which is 3/4 of the course and very necessary. Absolutely. And then we've got some techniques which are nice, like the stroking.
Yeah, oxytocin. Oxytocin.
Oxytocin.
Who are we talking like? Misha
Oh, he's so sexy.
Yeah, he talks about the that maternal fetal.
The fetal ejection reflex.
And that for some is very, very strong.
Very strong.
I'm one of those. So it's very hard to not You know, there's no way you can just breathe.
No.
It's literally
you go with it.
Yeah.
Because your baby's pressing on that part that makes it
yeah.
So do it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you did it. Gosh, you coughed your babies out, didn't you?
Yes. Nearly.
Okay. Was it a little bit more effort than that?
No, actually it wasn't. It was a cough and then very, very physiological. It's a sneeze. Yeah. So, did I ask you about insurance? There's a question. Yeah. Do independent midwives have insurance?
Yes.
What's included? So it was this thing, wasn't it, a couple of years ago?
Oh my goodness. January 2017.
Oh, so even 3 years ago.
Yeah, January 2017. Awful, yeah. But IM UK worked very hard in getting that situation turned around. One-to-one midwives created an insurance with their insurers that independent midwives could use.
Oh, excellent.
So, you know, and there's an insurance called Prism, which I think private midwives have created for independent midwives. So, I think they already had it for their midwives and extended it to independent midwives. So, yeah, we've got options.
So you're insured. Mm-hmm. What's the difference between a private midwife and an independent midwife?
I don't think there's any difference.
No? Or does a private midwife work for a company and an independent is completely...
There's a company called Private Midwives, but they extend insurance to independent midwives, and you can't really tell... I don't know. Maybe there's someone better to ask.
No, but maybe there isn't a difference. I just...
Some people call me private, like... say if I'm having a conversation with someone who's abroad wanting to come here to give birth, they'll call me a private midwife, and I know exactly what they're talking about.
Yes.
It's like a private doctor or a private maternity
It's
services.
not part of the NHS.
It's not part of the NHS.
So but if I wanted to hire an independent midwife, do you... What am I looking at? A sum from to...
Yeah, or... good question. Many of us would prefer to offer a full package.
Yeah.
And you know, really, the amount of time we spend before and after, and then during the birth, it's not enough. But we don't want to charge any more because we want people to be able to access. In fact, there's a charity called Timbet, which has just been created, a few of my colleagues are part of, because we want to be able to provide independent midwifery care to people that don't have the means. And so we've started a charity. Timbet, yeah, that's the initials for it.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah,
because I think you know, this is the thing that comes up a lot for, because doulas are independent or private, you know, and it's a big thing, you know. You're doing this nice job, you know, you should be doing it for nothing or offering it at discounts. And because we have to value what we do.
Of course we do.
And we need to get paid for what we do.
We need to.
And then if we do get paid for what we do, we can offer subset some of that.
That's right. So that's right.
But we can't do it all for nothing.
We can't do it all for nothing.
Then how long do you do that for?
Because I used to give pro bono care for families that didn't have the means when I had a full caseload. Yes. I don't have a full caseload anymore because I spend most of my time teaching. Yes. But still, we now got this charity that is just amazing, just been launched. Great. But also, you know, we want to get to that place where we can offer pro bono for people that don't have the means. I've exchanged my care for a car, for building work, all sorts. Love that. Yeah, because we want everyone to have it. That's right, exactly.
Why not?
The cost at the moment in London, we're charging 6,500 or 7,000 for full care. Yeah. That includes 1,000 premium for each birth we attend. So we have to take that out of the fee, and of course it covers like 2 hours of antenatal care each time you go. We go every 4 weeks up until 28 weeks, every 2 weeks till 36 weeks, weekly after that, sometimes twice weekly if they go beyond 41 weeks. Yeah. And then we're there daily after the baby's born for the first 7 days, and then 2 or 3 times the second week, and then weekly after that.
Blimey. And you're on call for
we're on call
all the time, I guess.
So we're on call from week 37 until you have your baby. We don't time you out because we understand it's a physiological event. Yeah.
So really, when it comes down to it, what minimum wage? That's what doulas work out.
That's minimum wage. Yeah. It is. But we love it.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying.
And we couldn't have, people don't have the means to pay more than that.
No.
I mean, I know you've got some people paying 21 grand
I was going to say,
go and
private hospitals.
more or less guarantee a cesarean kind of thing. But
that's interesting, because I have that conversation often with women who want to have a physiological, straightforward, natural birth and then have booked into a private hospital. Yeah, but it's really difficult because they're coming from maybe a culture where that's what you do.
Understand.
So then when you kind of, and you don't want to be criticizing that, but often I'm able to suggest, why don't you go and have a look at this birthing center perhaps, or have you heard about private midwives, independent midwives? But it's still this kind of home birth.
I think it's lack of knowledge.
100%.
Yeah. So again, I think we can carry on speaking to people that are childbearing age, but we must get to the young ones, the youngsters.
We do. Yeah. And about everything I talk about on a doula course comes back to the same thing. Physiological childbirth. Why does no one know about it? Because we don't learn about it at school. Yeah. Breastfeeding, the benefits of it, etc. Yeah. Why don't women know? All? Because we need to learn about it at school. Menopause, perimenopause.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Why do we not know
not
about
a
it?
thing. It's like such a secret. So I started going crazy. It was like batty, and I'm like, oh, this is the menopause.
Yeah, I know.
But I settled it all down with supplements and nutrition. So
perfect.
Yeah,
but it comes back to the same thing.
Yeah,
we are not. The education is substandard on all of these matters.
Yeah. But you know why don't you, Kicki?
What?
It's women's stuff. It's not important.
Okay, yes, totally.
It's not important.
No, do you know, it's very true, because it seems to be more important to kind of come up with a solution for male hair loss.
Oh, yeah. That's right. That's right.
Sorry, I'm sorry. But also,
you went there. I thought it was me that was going to be trouble tonight.
You are a bad influence on me, Kemi. So, okay, gosh, I love you both. Thank you, Cheryl. That's really sweet.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Okay, here we go. Question. Kemi, can you give me your 3 favourite birth-related books and websites? I like to offer evidence-based care to my families. Loving the broadcast.
She went there.
I just gave you 3 books.
She just gave me 3 books. Seriously, she just gave me 3 books.
Favourites, and
I had 5 books in my bag, didn't I? Because I had to read 5 at a time.
With all your glittery. Can I just show Kemi's glittery bottle? Everything
matches
she
my
has.
Eyeshadow.
Everything she has is glittery.
And actually your phone.
Oh, yes. So, give us some books.
They're very important. Oh God, you see, the problem with just naming 3 books is that there's way more.
Yes, no, I understand that. But say an overall kind of guide for...
Minnie Hill, Give Birth Like a Feminist, all day. Okay. Except I don't mention it to women who have gone beyond their first trimester. So I try and catch them between pregnancies.
So before they're pregnant.
Yeah. Because it's not an easy read. Yeah.
Okay, no, I have a copy.
Yeah. So Give Birth Like a Feminist. There's so many. Why Home Birth Matters. Can I name more than 3?
Yes, keep going.
And it still won't be enough. But Why Home Birth Matters. The Pinton Martin series. Yes. Why Mothering Matters. Why Induction Matters. Why Birth Trauma Matters. Then we've got Induction of Labour by Sarah Wickham. Brit B. Strep Explained by Sarah Wickham. Deborah Hughes, Gestational Diabetes. Nadine Edwards, oh my God, she just brought out this, that just got added to the bag today. Birthing Your Baby, which is about the expulsive stage, second stage. How to Have a Baby by Natalie Meddings. Birth in Focus by Becky Reed. There's so many.
And you haven't even read my books yet.
No, I haven't read your books yet. You see, so I got given. What have you just given me?
So I gave you a copy of Supporting Survivors.
Yeah.
Which is
so
actually
important.
They're not for your giving birth.
No. That's for us as birth workers. Yeah.
And The Secrets of Birth.
Yeah, amazing. See,
so
which I'm now just going to add to the bag. So you know, I could mention my own book, but I haven't written it yet. No, I can't. I can't.
Yes, but you should mention
call me
it.
back. Call me back.
Kemi, this is the thing. This is what you need to do to make things happen. You need to actually commit publicly on camera. Because then they're going to ask
me every week about this book,
and then you have to do it.
Okay.
So Kemi, you're thinking. No, sorry. Kemi, you're writing a book.
I am.
Okay, tell us a bit more about it.
It's about the adaptations that birthing people make to childbirth.
Okay.
Well, to pregnancy, and then how they adapt again throughout the pregnancy and adapt again for childbirth to let their baby go, and how they adapt to then nurture their babies.
Okay.
So it's all about the birth physiology of it all. So I'm really excited about it, but it's going to have pictures.
Okay,
yeah.
So
it's going to be a picture book.
That sounds brilliant.
Well, it's going to have some text, but yeah.
Yeah, but...
And it's going to have a lot of women's experiences or birthing people's experiences. So how they knew they were in early labour, you know, how it transitioned from Braxton Hicks to early labour. Just people's experience. It's going to be lush.
It is going to be lush. So when is this going to be out?
Stop it! Just stop it.
Yeah,
no, actually, it could well happen. Well, I think it will complete before June, and then
it's
after
a year
that,
until it comes out.
Yeah.
So that's so exciting.
I'm very excited.
You should be very excited.
Yes, it's just going to be a fun book. It's going to have some cheeky pictures in it and anecdotes and things.
Oh, I need a big bag. Can you provide a reading list for us?
Oh God, I haven't even mentioned the website. That's funny. The website, a Midwife Thinking. Oh my goodness, Rachel Reed.
Okay.
I just immerse myself, because when she writes, her articles are long and they've got loads of references, and it's just so wonderful. I love looking at Sarah Wickham's birthing updates.
We love Sarah Wickham's.
Love it. I actually clap my hands when I see it appear in the email. I love it. I love evidence-based birth.
Yeah.
And what Rebecca Becker does, and I like the way she makes a little vlog. That's really easy to share with parents. Yeah. Oh gosh, there's so much.
Well, yeah, we have. So Georgie BHS.
Yay! Hi, Georgie.
She's gonna nag you about the book, Kemi.
Oh no! What have I done?
She's your accountability partner. Oh, she's gonna be.
Oh, yes. And Georgie can nag. Yeah, Georgie, because she doesn't pull any punches. She's quite a straight talking person.
Okay, good.
So goodness me.
So
book will be out next month at this rate.
Yeah, it will be. So I'm just gonna see why not all of the questions are coming up. What is that? Why is that?
Is it got most relevant or something?
No, yeah, that's what I was looking at, but I can't. You see, this is this laptop. Sometimes so if you have asked questions and I can't see them, I'm really sorry. But to need a big bag. You see, when I press there, it's not coming up.
See glasses.
Yeah, maybe you need to go and look on your phone.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
But we have another 8 minutes.
We have 8 minutes. I'm very impressed.
Yes,
you've done very really well.
Let me just check my list of questions while you see if there's any.
Yeah.
Prefer independent midwife. Yeah, no, I think we have done well. We have covered all the questions that have come up, and here we go. I'd like to know some suggestions for doula midwives to take when things go awry. Like someone developing...
Go awry.
Awry, yes, sorry, thank you. It's my Swedish accent. Like someone developing an infection when their waters break, or if the baby turns squiff.
Yeah.
And the contractions are so challenging.
Yes.
The bad luck part is harder when there's no reason. It just is.
Yes. Okay, so there I go with saying, when I'm speaking with couples, there was some stats came out of World Health Organization, I think, back when they were trying to decide on the level of cesarean birth beyond which it wasn't helpful.
Yeah.
And one out of 100 you'd have 5 that definitely need instruments, and you'd have 5 that definitely need a cesarean section.
Okay.
Yeah. So with all the best will in the world.
Yeah.
No matter how well you're prepared, that's life.
Okay.
Yeah. So whenever giving care, I I just try and give that reality.
Okay.
90 women out of 100 will still just pop a baby out.
Yes.
If you don't disturb them or distract them.
Yeah.
Or make them try and get the baby out by induction.
Okay,
It's a whole different thing.
Forcing the baby.
Yeah, forcing the baby out. No. We're talking about just women waiting for some spontaneous labour. So with that in mind, if there is a baby in a squiffy position, if a woman is developing an infection, that's what obstetrics is for.
Yeah.
So changing positions or augmenting positions, the woman could do it herself or encourage her to rest, you know, enhance her movement in a pool. But then that's why I always think about people like Matt, those that work with the subtle work around alignment, etc., that they're seen in pregnancy just to maximise the opportunity to get your baby out without there being twists and turns. But labour is like that. It's a journey. And we are very fortunate in this country to have, you know, so many obstetric units and be able to get to them in reasonable time and have an ambulance service to take us there, and, you know, competent midwives, say, in the home, working with amazing doulas who also can see signs, you know, that they can see, you know, perhaps there's a malposition, you know, doulas can see that too. So I think when we work together like that, if I'm answering the question properly, knowing that we have obstetrics, the big guns, you know, when it's needed. It's like I was working with a woman once, she had a Bandles ring, and that meant that is not going to fully open, so she'll need a C-section. The obstetrician was so wonderful and facilitated a gentle cesarean for her. She was heartbroken. But, you know, things like that happen sometimes. It's just being competent, observant, kind.
Yes.
You know,
kindness. We keep coming back to that, because I think when I see really, really kind treatment of the clients, which I see most of the time, and someone saying to a woman, you've done really, really good work, the baby's nearly here, we're just going to give you a little bit of a hand.
That's right.
And
that's right.
You doing all the work, we're doing this together.
It's breaking my heart.
But it is, because that's so lovely compared to
time's up, you know, rain outside, seen some D-cells, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Or the baby's not happy, and the mum goes, what's going on? What's going on? Baby's not happy, we're going to have to get the baby out now.
It's not nice.
And you just think...
And then she replays that over. And
we know, and that is only... I understand something needs to happen. Yes, we have concerns. But that, we know from research, stays with the woman.
That's right.
And so many times when I hear that story, it's like when someone said, the baby, the heart rate's dropping, we need to get this baby out. Lots of women will say, it was me doing something wrong. I'm really upset. I know. So this is that if someone's kind... And yes, we do need these interventions. We do need support for women and birthing people. Then that's fine. But it's when it becomes that.
It's like used as a stick to beat the woman with. And I know it's not. I know it's not intentional, but it's very unkind.
It's like worry. That person, maybe something happened. That doctor was in a situation yesterday, or that midwife was in a situation where things did go really.
That's right.
Bad, so they want to prevent that. So it's really tricky. I don't think
very,
there's a solution.
Very tricky. I think there is.
Oh,
I do. I think we can reduce the incidence of parents being crushed with disappointment or frightened. So before I go to that one, I just want to say there's something I think all of us clinicians need to bear in mind, and doulas that work with us, that if we've attempted to bring that baby out at a certain time, we must call it a failed induction. We mustn't call it failure to progress or slow to progress. That's deceitful. What happened? We attempted an induction, it failed. We must not gaslight the woman on this. So that's the first really important thing I need to say. And also, we need to be honest with parents and say that when we give a sweep, if they accept it, it's an intervention. So if the labour, the wheels come off it, at some point we need to say it's a failed induction. It's not that she failed.
No.
or body just wasn't up to it.
Lazy uterus.
Yeah. Lazy uterus.
Incompetent cervix.
Oh,
sorry,
it's not that. So we just need to take every opportunity to acknowledge the role that we as clinicians have played in what's happened there, and stop gaslighting birthing parents.
I love that, because that is often what is left. The memory of it all is that I failed. My body doesn't work. Exactly. And so, and that's why I know going through a process of having a birth completion session, as I call them, on a birth debrief or whatever you want to call that.
I like that.
Because it completes it. Where you can say, it wasn't your body. This is how birth physiology works. This is what happened to your, on a subconscious level.
That's right.
It's like you weren't given the support for your body to do what it would do if it wasn't being disturbed.
That's right.
And if I know, if women knew that, they can go, okay, fair enough. Next time it will be different.
That's right, exactly.
Because now I know I'm going to protect the environment. I'm going to have an independent midwife and a doula.
Oh, imagine. We'll be right off our feet.
I know. But I think that's what it really bugs me, that women don't have that knowledge.
So you're broken, it's your fault, exactly. Can't do it.
And then when we come to women that already have trauma from past experience in their life, and how that we can fix so much with getting this right.
We could just fix it.
Yeah. What we like. Kemi, look, we're talking.
What time is it?
It's 9 o'clock.
Oh, gosh.
Let me see. Yes, they love failed induction rather than failure to progress. Of course.
Yeah.
Because, and actually, when you, as clinicians, the word you're using there, when you're offering an intervention, I think it's important to also highlight the side effects from the intervention.
Yeah.
As in, if you are induced, we have these things that can happen. If you do not choose to be induced, we have these things we worry about. What would you like to do?
That's really fair. You see, that's balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, but often what you'll be told
we know
is the risks of not accepting our intervention.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then women are so surprised that, well, they blame themselves.
Yeah, they blame themselves. We're great at that.
Yeah, we're very good at that.
But we're going to turn this around.
We are. God, yeah. We're already working on it.
Oh, yeah.
No, so actually, I'm looking see if there's any last questions here, but we have been talking now for a long time.
For a long, long time, because we started before the cameras.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we did. We're doing high five on the camera. Let's have a look. The discussion is still going. Oh, here we go. So, I think that's it. Yeah. I think we will leave it there. And thank you so much.
You all go and do what you need to do. Get to bed.
Yes. Or watching Love Island or something like that.
Oh, gosh.
I don't. Do you watch it?
I haven't, but everyone's addicted. Yeah. FOMO. Fear of missing out. I wonder what I'm missing.
Well, we can go in and watch it.
Let's go in and watch it.
Well, just a very big thank you. Thank you, Kemi. Thank you so much for coming. It's so great to meet you for the first time. So good to meet you,
honestly. I know, because I think we've even been in the same place at the same time a few times and not met.
Just haven't really. So I'm really glad you made the journey here. Really grateful.
It's so worth it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone who was watching, and hopefully you enjoyed this. And I'm gonna now have to get up. Yeah. The professional switch off.
Oh yeah.
So
go on. Do it quick. Do it quick. Do it quick. Bye.